Hello, and welcome to the fourth in a series of videos to provide detailed guidance on the use of the GDOT utility coordination tools now available in MicroStation Connect Edition. This video includes examples of some of the workflows described therein to aid in becoming familiar with navigating MicroStation Connect Edition. Additional videos with lab exercises to be completed for a more immersive learning experience follow the introductory videos. Additional tools on the proposed and existing utility menus facilitate placing cells and drawing lines by using properly formatted text files of XY coordinates. The tool allows for creating and editing the text files at any time during the drawing session. Prior to using the by coordinates buttons, XY coordinates must be inserted into the standard files. The by coordinates button provides a means by which to place cells and custom line styles using XY coordinates. The Open, Edit, Raw XY Files button opens Windows Explorer to access the Input-Output folders in the workspace. The Create XY Input for Cells button opens the Coordinate Input tool. With the Coordinate Input tool, the Active Input File label shows the name of the active file used for coordinate input. The existing Import Raw XY Coordinates file button opens Windows Explorer at the standard input file location and allows the selection of existing condition raw coordinates to populate columns A and B of the worksheet. The proposed Import Raw XY Coordinates file button opens Windows Explorer at the standard input file location and allows the selection of proposed condition raw coordinates to populate columns A and B of the worksheet. The Clear Data button clears all point data from columns A and B. The Exit button closes the Coordinate Input tool and returns to MicroStation Connect Edition. The existing Export XYCell_com.txt file button creates the standard file that is used to place the selected active cell for existing conditions. And these file names can't be changed. The proposed Export XYCell_com.txt button creates the standard file that is used to place the selected active cell for proposed conditions. And these file names also cannot be changed. The existing input files appear as depicted. The imported existing XY values appear as depicted. The active condition is highlighted and the name of the active input file is displayed. Upon selecting an export option, a message will appear as depicted if the standard cell placement file was created without errors. Place cells with coordinate input by the following steps. 1. Activate the main menu and select the Utility Status tab, Drawing Scale, and choose a utility. Propose electric at 50 scale for this example. From the submenu that opens after the previous step, select the Create XY Input for Cells to create the standard text file with XY coordinates. When the Coordinate Input tool opens, select the proposed Import Raw XY Coordinates file option. Step 4. Select the input file and click Open. Columns A and B are populated with the point data. This point data list can be modified as needed prior to exporting. Step 5. Export the cell placement file by selecting the appropriate Export XY cell button. For this example, the Export XY cell _ elect.txt button will be used. Upon selecting the export option, a message will appear as depicted if the standard cell placement file was created without errors. Click OK, then exit to return to MicroStation Connect Edition. To place the cells using the coordinates in the previously exported file, select the proposed option in the Place Cells column and choose the active cell from the cell selector. Step 7. After selecting the active cell, select the By Coordinates option in the Place Cells column, and the selected cell will be placed accordingly. To draw lines via coordinate input, first select the Utility Status tab, Drawing Scale, and the appropriate utility. The proposed electric at 50 scale will be used for this example. From the submenu that opens after the previous step, select the Open, Edit, Raw XY files and select the corresponding text file to edit. Step 3. If revisions are required for the point list, right-click on the standard text file, select the Edit option, and edit as needed. Otherwise, skip to Step 4. The XY line _ elec.txt file depicted is an example of a points file. Step 4. If the points list has been edited, save and close the file to return to MicroStation Connect Edition. Determine whether to place overhead or underground lines, and select the By Coordinates option in the appropriate column. Open the appropriate folder, select the appropriate file, and click Open. The proposed input folder is selected for this example. And the chosen line style is drawn accordingly. In addition to placing objects by coordinates, the coordinates of objects that have already been placed can be exported as needed. The Export XY Data tool, accessible via the Export XY Data button on the proposed utility menus, facilitates the exporting of XY coordinates for use in placing points, text, and cells to a file. Upon selecting the Export XY Data button, the Export Points dialog will appear. To use this tool, proceed as follows. In the Export Points dialog, select the type of point elements to process. The Point Elements option exports the point location. The Cell Elements option exports the cell origin and cell name. The Text Elements option exports the text origin and text string. The Text Node Elements option exports the text node origin and all of the lines of text in the node. Choose the method by which the elements will be identified. The Level option processes the selected point types residing on a specified level. The Fence option processes the selected point types in the active fence. The Selection Set option processes the selected point types in the active selection set. The output is written to a comma-separated text file or CSV file that can be opened in Excel. The default file name is the name and path of the active design file with a points.csv suffix. For this example, the power pole cells previously placed by coordinates will be selected as a selection set, and the Export Points by Selection Set option will be implemented to export the points. The undo command will be used to remove the line previously placed by coordinates, leaving only the power pole cells. Holding down the Control key and then the Z key will invoke the undo command. In this case, we will use the undo arrow at the top of the dialog. Right-clicking and holding the right mouse button in an empty area of the view will launch the context menu. From the context menu, the selection tool will be activated and used to select the previously placed power pole. In the Export Points dialog, the point type is set to Cell Elements. Since the power pole cells that will be exported have been selected as part of a selection set, the Select Points By option will be set to Selection Set. Select the Export option. Navigate to the folder where the file will be stored, which is the same folder in which the active DGN file resides. Open Windows Explorer and navigate to the same folder in which the active DGN file resides to find the exported file. Open the CSV file with Excel. There's a point type column, the cell name under the label column, followed by the coordinates. In summary, this video provides an in-depth review of the GDOT utility tools that facilitate placing cells and drawing lines by use of XY coordinates included in properly formatted text files.